Hello everyone. Welcome to Tales of Light. What if everything you thought made you valuable suddenly disappeared? Your job, your money, your respect from others. Would you still feel like you matter? Tonight, you are going to hear the story of a man named David. A man who had to lose almost everything before he understood one simple truth about self-worth that could also change your life. This story is told in the spirit of short moral stories that help people reflect on life and grow kinder and wiser. Imagine a man in his early 30s, walking through the city with his shoulders slightly bent, phone in his hand, checking emails even at midnight. That is David. On paper, David looks successful. Good job, decent salary. People at work know his name. On social media, his life looks even better. But there is something David never says out loud. Every morning, before he even gets out of bed, he checks his phone. Not for messages from friends, not for family. He checks his work emails because deep inside, he believes something dangerous. If he is not useful, he is not worthy. If he is not achieving, he is not enough. He does not say it, but this belief controls him. If the boss praises him, he feels like a king. If the boss is cold, he feels like a ghost. His self-worth goes up and down with every comment, every number, every reaction. And he thinks this is normal. Until one day, life decides to test that belief. A few years earlier, David was not like this. He was hopeful, full of dreams. He believed he could do anything. But slowly, life started to teach him to measure himself. In school, he learned that good grades meant he was smart, and bad grades meant he was not. At home, he saw how adults praised people with big jobs and big cars, and how they spoke softly about those who struggled. On TV, online, everywhere, he received the same message. You are what you achieve. You are what you own. You are the result you can show. So David started to chase things that could prove his worth. He worked hard, said yes to every extra project, stayed late, skipped rest, skipped family dinners. Every time someone said, "That was impressive," David felt safe, at least for a moment. But the feeling never lasted. One Sunday afternoon, David sat with his mother in the small cafe. She looked at him with gentle eyes and said, "You look tired." He laughed it off. He said, "It is just a busy season." But deep down, her words touched a place he did not want to look at. He asked her, almost as a joke, "Mom, are you proud of me?" She smiled and said something simple. "I was proud of you before you had any of this." David nodded, but he did not really believe her. How could he? The world had trained him to well. He went back to his routine. Emails, targets, numbers, sleep. Repeat. Until the day everything began to crack. One ordinary Monday, David arrived at work and felt that something was off. People were whispering in small groups. The managers looked tense. An email came in. Emergency meeting at 10 a.m. Everyone gathered in the conference room. The air was heavy. The manager stood up and, with careful words, explained that the company had to downsize. Budgets were cut. Entire teams would be removed. No one met anyone's eyes. Names were read. Some people cried quietly. Others stared blankly at the wall. Then David heard his own name. In one sentence. The job he had built his life round was gone. For a moment, he did not even feel anything. It was like his brain froze. He walked back to his desk in slow motion. He packed his things into a cardboard box. That box felt heavier than any weight he had ever carried. On the way home, the city looked different. The same streets, the same buildings. But now, every person who passed him looked like they had a place, a purpose. And he felt like he had lost his dot at home. The silence was loud. He sat on the edge of his bed, still holding his work ID card. Thoughts started to attack him. Who are you now? You are jobless. You are useless. You are a failure. He tried to push those thoughts away, but they kept coming back like waves. All the years he had tied his worth to his work came crashing down on him. If he was not productive, if he could not prove his value, what was left? That night, he could not sleep. He stared at the ceiling. He thought about rent, bills, the looks on his co-workers' faces, what his family would say. But more than anything, he was haunted by one question. If I'm not what I do, then what am I? A few days later, David still had no answers. He sent out resumes. He scrolled through job sites, but no response came yet. Each hour, his anxiety grew. On the third evening, his younger sister called. She heard what happened and insisted he come over for dinner. He did not want to go. He felt ashamed, but she did not give him a choice. When he arrived, their small living room felt warm. His little nephew ran to him and hugged his legs, shouting his name with excitement. For a moment, the weight on his chest loosened. After dinner, his sister sat across from him at the kitchen table. She looked at him the way only family can, seeing through every mask. He tried to make jokes, to act fine, but his voice cracked. Finally, he said it. I lost my job. What if I do not find another one soon? What if I never reach what I was before? Who am I even without that title? He expected her to offer solutions. Maybe tell him to update his profile, to work harder, to be positive. Instead, she stayed quiet for a moment, then said something simple. You are my brother. You were my brother before you got that job. You will still be my brother if you never get one like that again. Her words hit him harder than the layoff email. He stared at her. But I feel like nothing, he whispered. Like I am not worth anything now. She shook her head. You have a kind heart. You listen when I am sad. You make my son laugh. You stayed with Mom in the hospital when no one else could. Did any of that disappear with your job? Something in David broke open. Tears he had been holding back finally fell. In that moment, surrounded by simple furniture, cheap plates, and the laughter of a child in the next room, David met a truth he had never understood. His worth had never been in his title. It had always been in his heart, his choices, his character. It was there long before any company ever printed his name on a card. That night, when David went back home, the city lights did not feel like they were judging him anymore. He walked slower, really looking at people's faces. He realized something simple but powerful. Every person he passed had a story. Not just a job, not just a title, a story, a heart, a quiet battle no one could see. He thought about the times he had reduced himself to numbers on a screen. Targets hit, emails answered, money earned. He had been so busy proving his worth that he had forgotten he already had a dot at home. He opened his notebook. For the first time, he did not write a to-do list. He wrote a different kind of list. Mom's single quotes a smile when I bring her flowers. My nephew's laugh. The friend I stayed up with all night on the phone when his life was falling apart. The time I helped a coworker who was new and scared. The art I used to draw as a kid that made me feel alive. As he wrote, something inside started to shift. His worth did not begin the day he got hired. It did not in the day he was let go. His worth was not in a building, a badge, or a bank account. It was in the way he loved, the way he tried, the way he stood back up after falling. Did he still need a job? Of course, bills were real, responsibilities were real. But for the first time, David understood a crucial difference. His job was important, but it was not the measure of his soul. Moral, spoken to the viewer, maybe you have also tied your worth to something outside of you. to a number on a scale, to someone else's approval, to your productivity, your looks, your relationship status. But here's the truth this story wants to leave in your heart. Your self-worth is not something the world gives you. So it is not something the world can take away. You are valuable on your worst day. You were worthy before anyone praised you. You will still be worthy if they all fall silent tomorrow. You are more than your results. You are more than what went wrong. You are a whole, living, breathing human being whose value does not disappear with a lost job, a bad grade, a broken relationship, or a failed plan. This is the truth about self-worth that changed David's life. And it can change yours too. The world will always try to rate you. It will put numbers on you, rankings, follows, likes, titles. But none of those things can see your whole story. They cannot see the nights you did not give up. They cannot measure the courage it took to simply get out of bed when everything in you wanted to hide. So the next time your mind tells you that you are nothing because something went wrong, remember David sitting at that kitchen table, thinking he had lost everything when he had not lost himself. Remember his sister's words, and remember the moments in your own life when you showed kindness, bravery, or honesty, even when no one clapped for you. You have a value that does not rise and fall with your latest success or failure. You had it as a child. You have it right now. You will have it tomorrow. That does not mean you stop growing or trying. It means you grow from love, not from fear. If there is one line to carry with you after this story, let it be this: you are not your job. You are not your mistakes. You are not your numbers. You are you, and that is already enough to be worthy of respect, care, and a future. If this story of David touched something inside you, do not let it end here. Take a moment after this video to ask yourself honestly, where have you been tying your worth to things that can disappear? And what would change if you started treating yourself as worthy, even before you achieve the next thing? You deserve to live from a place of quiet, steady self-respect, not constant fear of not being enough. And sometimes, it just takes hearing the right story at the right time to wake that truth up inside you. If you want more stories that speak to your heart, help you see your life differently, and gently guide you back to what really matters, stay close. Like this video if it resonated with you. Comment and share one small thing about yourself that has nothing to do with your job or status, but still makes you proud to be you. Share this story with someone who is feeling lost, so they remember their worth. And if you have not already, subscribe to Tales of Light, so you do not miss the next story that might be the one your heart has been waiting for. You are not alone on this journey. Thank you for watching, and remember, your light was never measured by your title.